It looks like the channeling of sealing the mana hall or something is still finishing. It continues to glimmer. It looks like the sealing process is taking a lot of time and I'm starting to get bored. Finally, the orb becomes super tiny like an eyeball. This is a sign that it has now been sealed, as the page said. The nobles stand up in amazement as they see this wild phenomenon. Maybe sealing the mana hall is not common at all and our boy really did an extremely hard punishment on the fat prince. The countess cries while still bound by the rope on her mouth. She looks at her son with grief. She thinks that his future will only be full of shame and despair. The fat prince thinks to himself, "It seems to be better than expected. I can help my mother with this." He lets out a sigh of relief as he grabs his big-ass belly. Perhaps the guilt has been lifted off his shoulders and now he can relax without expecting a death by hanging. It's over now, the stepmother thinks. It looks like the stepmother has fully given up on debating with the council since her son has her mana hall now sealed, and I kind of feel sorry. Well, not really. He still tried to kill our boy Calyx. The fat prince looks at his mom. His mom thinks, although he's my biological son, he's too inexperienced and naive. Yes, the countess is 100% on the nose on this one. Her son really is useless and has a punchable face. Mother, please don't be too discouraged. The truth is, I wanted to become an artist. Nobody really cares about your boring-ass dream. Our boy Calyx has a more interesting dream. His story deserves to be in a Manhwa.in typical fashion. The mother thinks, Calyx. Her anger is so intense that the thought bubble is now black inside instead of white. You can really feel the anger accumulating inside of her. She bites onto this thing which is on her mouth more and more. Clang. Her anger managed to bring her to a point where her mouth broke the chain. Talk about anger management issues. Now, this is the most demonic face I have ever seen of her. Calyx, I will curse you for generations to come. I'll tear you apart. I have never seen a more angrier stepmother in all my life in reading a manhwa. Calyx just stands there like a badass. Her words do not faze him at all since he knows that the countess is in the wrong. There is really no reason that our boy should feel guilty or anything. Calyx thinks if you can't use mana, no matter how hard you try, you'll only reach the level of a class 3 knight. You'll barely be at the level of someone like Layla as the picture zooms in on Lila. Mother, the fat prince says. Really, the word mother is fat prince's favorite word. But, says Calyx, the guilt of having taken away the future of a child who is still in middle school. It looks like our boy looks somewhat in doubt here. Perhaps he is guilty of what he did. I do hope not, since they tried to kill our boy. No, it's just a character in a game. Such petty pity could backfire. Calyx decides to compose himself once more and think that all of this is just a game. What's happening? Russell thinks all of a sudden. He's saying this because Calyx just suddenly spaced out for a minute. Our boy stares angrily back at Russell. Perhaps he thinks that he's doubting him or spotting some weakness. I don't really know. We're already committed. There's no turning back now. Calyx thinks to himself. He says to Russell, let's proceed with the disposal, Count Russell. Now the scene switches to all of the council members present. It looks like Calyx will be proceeding to purge them from their positions. That's a good start. Until the investigation into those involved in the assassination is complete, Lady Stella and Prince Grunbein are forbidden from any external contact. They will be imprisoned in the annex. Good luck to the fat prince who wanted to become an artist or something. From now on, you two are forbidden from having any contact with the outside world. The fat prince walks past our boy Calyx as if they never knew each other. They get taken away by the multiple guards. It's best to get more security since the mother is so OP when she's enraged. Our boy looks back at the council. Now the purge begins. I wonder who will be next to die or get punished. Now we start with the old dude who looks like a priest or something. The chief financial officer Gidros is suspected of leaking confidential documents. He looks scared shitless. You can see the despair in his face as a dark aura forms around him, displaying gloom and sorrow. Now Russell yells. He is hereby stripped of his current position and ordered to be detained and investigated. Drag the criminal out. The soldiers drag him out, but he still persists that his scummy ass is different. He yells out, "I'm different. Stop. Let go." He scolds the guard, "You lowly soldier," the old man says. But this just pisses off the guard, so he punches him so hard that he blacked out and said, "Don't touch me with your filthy hands." Now the bald guy is completely unconscious with his not so pleasant to look at bald head shining on my face. "You're doing well," says Calyx. Someone in the crowd says, "And yet, Prince Calyx, who has neither title nor supporting factions." Some nobles in the back worry for themselves. Could it be that we will also receive such punishment? Why does he require confirmation from someone like Count Russell? This means that the entire order of knights has aligned with the prince. They continue to yap to each other. The succession dispute must be over now. Count Russell is deliberately showing us his lowered stance, which is a warning from Prince Calyx to us. Now Russell says, "You are to be suspended from your duties and placed under strict confinement furthermore." "Security chief," he says. "Perhaps he's the one who going to get arrested first." "Yes," says the old guy. "You are to be suspended from your duties and placed under strict confinement. Furthermore," Russell says. "Please refrain from making unnecessary misunderstandings by interacting with others," says Russell, and the old guy says, "Understood." The other nobles tremble in fear. Russell said this. They fear that they may also lose their titles and get arrested. "I apologize," a guy with a weird attire says. He says, "This is all due to my mismanagement. Please approve my resignation." Calyx thinks Garrett is not only capable but also well-regarded and trusted by his subordinates. Besides, he's already aligned with Russell. Calyx thinks there's a risk of facing backlash. And Russell says, "Chief Administrator, the request for resignation is denied." Russell hands him a bunch of papers which look shocking. This is the list of officials believed to have been involved in this incident. The guy in the weird attire looks baffled himself. Maybe he is not part of the crime. Order the suspension and confinement of their duties. Regarding the expansion of personnel, please ensure that it does not interfere with operations. Instead of reprimanding this guy in the weird attire, Russell is giving him a list of responsibilities. "I apologize, Your Excellency," someone says while it zooms into Calyx. "Prince Calyx?" questions Russell. It looks like he's spacing out like an airhead again. Now Calyx decides to give his words, "Count Russell. All but 4 of the financial officers are subject to investigation. It seems necessary to send new financial officers to the Bureau of Finance." Our boy says, "What? Please show the prince's leniency towards those with lighter offenses," says the weird-looking guy. "If not a single high-ranking official remains, there will be serious issues with operations." Calyx thinks, "No, we must staff the finance department with individuals we can absolutely trust." Calyx replies to the guy, "Are you saying it's acceptable for the investigation to be left unresolved out of fear of disrupting operations?" says Calyx in a badass tone. The guy just stands there saying, "Ah," like a moron. He knows that our boy is wiser than him. Will they be grateful for my leniency, or will they overestimate themselves? The guy says, "But they merely made a mistake in their alignment," he says with despair. "Very well, please," says Calyx. "I have already made up my mind." Calyx looks like a total badass here. The guy's inner monologue says, and he's shocked at Calyx, "You are no longer the same prince as before. You were once indecisive and weak-hearted." He recalls the time when Calyx was still a little crybaby bitch all the time. If Russell is the symbol of martial prowess, then Garrett is the symbol of scholarship. And now Garrett is faltering before the prince. Is this really happening? A noble says in the back. As always, the nobles only know how to complain. "Oh? Now the power of the Shikin countdom is almost mine." Calyx smiles. It looks like our boy is going down an evil path at this point. And it zooms in at his face. Something truly epic is about to happen in the next chapter. Calyx opens all these system interfaces while smiling. Perhaps he is plotting his world domination plot. Although there seems to be some system interfaces above the people. Maybe it's their stats or information or something. Calyx faces the guy with the mustache and opens his character information. His name is Garrett Olson, 61 years old. Title is Baronet. Affiliation is Earl of Shiakin, and his position is Chief Administrator. Perhaps he is a potential ally for our boy, but I don't see any confidence in him. Our boy thinks to himself, Garrett said it would take time. He thinks seriously. He looks to the scummy nobles who look terrified and nervous. He sees the character information because of this system hack he has. Opposing factions will be surely eliminated. Even those with ambiguous positions are out. Calyx says. Especially those who are useless. Calyx opens the system interface with the list of members in the council. That includes the old guy, Garrett Olson. I'll only use those who survive the loyalty contest. A dark purple aura surrounds our boy. Perhaps he's going to make a really evil move. The soldiers and nobles feel his aura. What's with that smile? Scary. You can see their terror with the wiggly lines going down. If Prince Calyx dislikes you, you'll literally lose your head. Some of the nobles think. I think this is the time where the nobles will be about to suck up to our boy. The nobles swarm our boy like flies to a piece of crummy leftover food. They're about to suck up to Prince Calyx and earn his trust and favor. Everyone, calm down. There's plenty of time. Calyx probably will begin to select the best of the best. Russell looks from a distance as he sees the daring move from our boy. Perhaps he's really bewildered on how much Calyx changed that he scratches his head. Perhaps confused also. The scene shifts to outside of the castle at night. Perhaps it was a long process of the nobles sucking up to Calyx and earning his trust. Our boy says as he stretches his arms. Perhaps he's tired from all of the crazy events which have been transpiring. He says as he lays on his giant soft bed. He's probably do contemplating on his life or something like we usually do late at night. So tired, says Calyx. His eyes just slowly close, but it looks like he's still thinking about a lot of stuff. While closing his eyes, he thinks and remembers his previous life, average studies, average in looks. I was just average. But what if I beat the game that no one could clear? Then I'd become someone special. He says to himself while thinking of his previous boring appearance. The scene now switches back to him staring at his computer. Perhaps this is back at the time when he was suddenly transported into this game world that he thinks is still not real. Congratulations, Game Master. You are the first human to acquire the seat of the gods, and have been registered in the Hall of Fame. Says the interface system. He remembers the old man in the video game he interacted with when he was still in the real world. You are the first human to acquire the seat of the gods. Everything's over now. I wish I could be reborn on the continent of Ellen. Little did our boy know that the game really is listening, and soon, he got his wish of being transported to the continent of Ellen. Then I could remain someone extraordinary, he says. Our boy wakes up. He suddenly realizes something when he was doing his inner monologue and says, wait, the seat of the gods. I cleared the game and ascended to the seat of the gods, he remembers. When I first started the game, the system interface tells him in a flashback when he was in the real world, you were born with a small, insignificant soul. Survive the turbulent times and become a hero. Deliver judgment on the resurrected evil god and ascend to the seat of the gods. Then, any wish will be granted. Ends the system interface. No way, says our boy as he leaps out of his bed. He's clearly shocked as obviously, the game is the one which did this event. I would rather be reborn on the Ellen continent, he thinks while he imagined himself in his older life. Did it grant my wish? He questions the world around him. Did they think that was my wish? In any case, there's no turning back now. If I clear this world and ascend to the gods again, could I have another wish? I'll definitely clear this world. He finally thinks to sleep as he sleeps because he is so exhausted. Wah, says Calyx as he stretches his tiny little arms. It's the morning now. All right, where should I start? It looks like our boy is going to make some major adjustments to his kingdom now that the trash has been disposed of. I remember the Earl's territory perfectly. He remembers this because of his past life completing the game, just in case you did not know. But I've never heard of the Shiakin territory. Perhaps the events wherein he is now is dates before the game starts. Where is this place anyway? I guess I should look for it on the map. He might open his system now. As expected, and map which the system has conveniently pops up out of nowhere. This is why this genre of manhwa is too oversaturated. There's too much system that suddenly comes out of nowhere. A prompt pops up. You have a history of conquering the continent of Ellen, says the system to our boy. Oh, he questions. Looks like he's also unaware of his character's history. A message pops up again, clear bonus. All map markers displayed. A cheat suddenly displayed to him out of nowhere. Whoa, seriously? He's also bewildered by this message. This is like a treasure map, he says as he blushes. All ruins, dungeons, terrains, and features in Hero's Destiny are displayed. This is why manhwas all have bad storytelling. The map displays several cities on the interface which have small houses near them. Perhaps these are villages or smaller towns. The towns also have their names listed. There are also question marks, which could mean it's unknown territory, danger sign, which means it's dangerous there, and an exclamation mark, which probably means mission or something. All map markers displayed. It even includes information I didn't know before. Calyx is surprised on what he's seeing. He squirms like a baby while saying, "Oh man, this is going to be way too easy. Perhaps this is not going to be a challenge for our boy since he already knows the events and now he has a map hack." Wait a minute, what year is it now? He wonders. Imperial year 289. Huh. Hero's Destiny starts in Imperial year 294. The system shows the current year. It's currently year 289. Calyx looks relaxed for a second here, as if there's nothing to be worried about. So, I don't know about the Earl of Shekin's territory, huh? He screams in terror saying, does that mean this land I've just obtained is destined to disappear within 5 years? He questions and yells. Why is that? I feel like Russell said something about poor finances. He remembers Russell's face, looking angry with a fiery aura signifying his wrath. Maybe that's why I almost got killed when I couldn't even afford a maid, says Calyx. He opens the system and says, let's take a look at the financial status window. It displays Shekin Earl's territory. Checking financial status. He looks panicked and in distress. Perhaps our boy wasn't in total control after all. What is this all of a sudden? His eyes widen with text in front of the system and he says, no way. It looks like our boy is truly bamboozled after what just happened to the finances of the kingdom. The previous council really did him good. This is unbelievable. He screams as the scene zooms out, signifying that this yell was across the castle.